Hey True Schools, it's Brent here with another tutorial on time. In this tutorial we're going to be getting our hours working up here, and we're going to make sure that our minutes don't go over 60, because currently if we click this button we go larger than 75, and that's not what we want because there are only 60 minutes in 1 hour. Alright, so let's get stuck into it. As you'll see here, I've updated my code, so my takeaway or my removing 15 minutes button actually works as well. So mine goes both ways. So hopefully you did something similar to me when we did that. But we need to get our hours working. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to start with adding 15 minutes, and we're going to stay in here. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different here, and I'm going to add a new message. All right, so I'm going to broadcast a new message, and every time we repeat something, I want us to just add 1 single minute, and I'll show you why I'm going to do it this way in a moment. Alright, so I'm going to add a minute. Alright, so when I receive that message, add minute, I want to just add a minute. See how I just dragged that change by 1 minute? This does exactly what I would expect it to do. So I'm just breaking this code out of there in case I ever want to call add minute in the future, independent of this. Alright, so every time I add a minute, I want to change the clock minutes by 1. So that's pretty straightforward. So let's just check to see if that actually works, and look, it's still going as you would expect. So right now, as you can see, the minute hand has made 1 full loop around our clock, and we're on 60 minutes. And that's exactly what you would expect it to do. But if I press plus 15 minutes again, or adding more 15 minutes, it takes it to 75. And there aren't 75 minutes. It's not a valid value to have on our clock. So we need to do something about that. So what we can do is we can say, if we get to 60 minutes, let's actually reset our clock minutes back to 0, because it's the exact same thing. So I'll show you how to do that. So I said, we had an if statement. So we said if our clock minutes gets to 60, we want to do something. So let's actually do that. So if we go to our control category here, and we look down this list, and there is this if statement. So that's just saying if, okay? So if something, then I want to do something else, all right? So we said that if our clock minutes is equal to 60, we want to reset our clock minutes. So we need to put in a control statement here. And to do that, we go into this green operators category, and we find the one that has that equal sign, okay? Heaps of different operations that we can do. We just want to focus on the one that says equal. So we drag that in and pop it in there. So it's saying if something is equal to that, then we're going to do something. So hopefully you're getting an idea of what we might be doing here. So we're going to say if our clock minutes is equal to 60, so we can actually put the 60 in there, we want to do something. Alright, but we need to put something in this this square there. So we go to our data, and we've got our 2 variables here, clock hours and clock minutes. If I click them, see it says 45, and we're on 45. That's just representing our clock minutes. I can drag that out of here and pop it into that control statement. So it says if clock minutes is equal to 60, we're currently going to do nothing, but we need to do something. Alright, so if I just click that once, it'll add 1 minute. Okay, you can see every time I click it, we add an extra minute right up until we get to 59, and there we go. So now we want to say if the clock minutes is equal to 60, we want to change the clock minutes back to 0. So the easiest way to do that is to get this set block here. Set, we don't want to set the clock hours, we want to set the clock minutes back to 0. Okay, so this is just saying if clock minutes is equal to 60, set clock minutes back to 0. So you'll see if I double click this, this will change, it'll actually get to 60, and then it will reset back to 0. So let's have a look at that. And there you go, it sets itself back to 0, and it would resume again. So every time I click my button here, it goes back to 0, and it resets my hour hand. So that's really cool. The next thing that you'd want to do here is, this is the sort of flag or the signal to say, alright clock, we've just added an hour. So we want to say that out loud. We want to broadcast another message to say, hey, we've just hit another hour. So to do that, we go back into our events. We want to broadcast another message. So broadcast, we're not adding 15 minutes, we're not taking away 15 minutes, we're actually saying, hey, we've gone around the clock once. In real life, that means we've added an hour. So we need to create a new message here, and we're just going to say add hour. Okay. So the last thing that we want to do in this particular part of this tutorial is actually update our clock hours. And it's very, very similar to what we are doing here, or in the changing thing, okay? So we're broadcasting our add hour message here, so we actually need to go to our hour hand here, and we need to listen to that message. So when I receive the message, add 15 minutes, no, we don't want that one. We don't want add minute, we want the add hour. So when we receive the message add hour, we want to change our clock hours by 1, because we've just updated our clock. Okay, so we can change, not our hours direction, we want to change our clock hours by 1. Okay, so let's see what actually happens there. Boom, and our clock hours has ended up at 1 there, and look, our hour hand is still pointing at that 1. So that works, and that's really cool. So what I'd like you to do now is have a go at doing what we did exactly then, but for removing a minute. Okay, I'll show you a pretty nifty feature that you can do, that you can use. So you can just use some code that you've already done. So you can right click on your mouse up the top there, you can duplicate, which just means copy some code, and it copies that whole block there. Alright, so have a go at doing that. I'm going to do it for you now, but I'm not going to talk you through it. I'd like you to have a go at it. If you get stuck, you can just watch this video right until the end. So I'll catch you in the next video, but here you go, this is how I would do it. There you go.